And I want to talk to you about two significant threats to that Saskatchewan, to a Saskatchewan that leads the country. And we saw them in full display today when our opponents released their election platform. I'll begin with fiscal responsibility. A threat to Saskatchewan's continued excellence and growth relative to the rest of the country or really any other part of the world is fiscal responsibility, or the lack thereof, should the people of the province decide to give the NDP a chance at government. We have worked hard as a government to make sure that fiscal responsibility is at the foundation and the core of our growth agenda. And so we have worked to manage costs. And so we have worked to pay down the debt, by the way. $3 billion plus in debt pay down in the province. The general revenue debt of Saskatchewan down 44% in just 4 years. We've worked hard to keep our taxes competitive, to lower them for families and farmers and small business people, for property owners in rural areas and in urban areas as well. And I just fundamentally believe that that's part of the Saskatchewan success story. That's part of the reason why our growth agenda is working, is that fiscal responsibility. I get to travel all over the country, and they know that this is maybe the only jurisdiction other than Newfoundland, I think it is, that has a balanced budget. They understand the importance of that. Even as I travel in the United States, they have a hard time believing that there's a place in North America that's creating jobs in the resource sector and elsewhere and that has a balanced budget. It's at the core of our growth agenda. The other core element of our growth agenda has been that we have created a positive business environment together with you. Part of that business environment, a key component, is stability in our tax structures. Stability in the royalties being charged. The royalty structure negotiated with potash companies by the former Premier, Calvert, supported by the Saskatchewan Party, is bearing fruit. You see, we have the highest potash taxes in the world today, still today. The next highest is the Kingdom of Jordan, and we're twice as high as them. So it was the Calvert government that said, with our support, we better provide some temporary incentives if we want those companies to expand here instead of the other countries in the world that have potash, where the potash royalties are much lower. We supported the NDP when they made the change, and guess what? It's working today. $12 billion worth of potash expansion underway in your Saskatchewan, and thousands of jobs being created and building the Saskatchewan advantage. And if you start messing with that fundamental component of our economic policy, as the NDP would have us do, you begin to risk those jobs, you begin to risk that growth that has set Saskatchewan apart.